Good morning.
Good
Morning.
morning.
I'm here with Henry Rodriguez and Jeanette Beltran. They're both from ICES Education, program coordinators within Hawthorne School District. They oversee 7 elementary sites and 3 middle school sites. So the purpose of this interview is to explore student and parent education and social emotional well-being support, and to spotlight how Region 11 expanded learning programs are rising to address the challenges we're facing during the COVID-19 pandemic. So thank you all for being here with us today.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Sterling.
So the first question I have is, how is your program staff supporting the well-being of students and families?
Well, our program, has been working closely with each of their admin school teams to see exactly where it is that they need the most help when it comes to that. Something that we're doing and we're helping out with at Bud Carson Middle School, one of our middle schools, one of our 3 middle schools, is something called the Husky Hangout, and it's a virtual platform for students to go on there, and we have our site director that's part of it. We have the dean of the school that's part of it, and some other members of the school admin team that are part of it. And it's a forum for them just to express how they're feeling during this pandemic, how they're dealing with it day by day, how it's gone from having that social environment with all their friends to now just being at home and not really interacting with anybody. And not just how they're feeling during the pandemic, but also, we work in the inner city, and, Jeanette and I, we're Latino, and our schools are primarily all minority. We have a lot of Latinos, African American, and with the whole, the whole world going into not just, our country, but our world or our cities going into these, protests with this racial, inequality with George Floyd. It's also been a great forum for them to speak on that.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been very vocal about it, and they talk about their feelings and how they're feeling about it. And it's been a great forum for them. I think Bud Carson, they're doing a great job when it comes to that. And they have a huge turnout of students that go onto that platform virtually and just talk about their feelings, and how they're coping with it. And and then our team and the school team gives them pointers, but it's pretty much just to hear them out. And I think once they speak of it or talk to somebody about it, it helps them with that process.
Mm-hmm.
Besides the Husky Hangout, we've been calling students and parents to see how they're doing directly, how we could be of service for them. If some people are having a hard time, collecting a Chromebook from their school, we're there to help out if they need it. Like our company, would go, if they don't have transportation or anything, we would go and pick it up from the school and even deliver it to them, or just any kind of help they would need. We've been there for them. Recently, a lot of them held like drive-by graduations at their school sites,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
our teams were very a part of that in the middle schools for the 8th graders, even for the 5th graders culminating. And our site directors and program leaders went as far as even visiting their homes, obviously safe social distancing with their mask on, but they created signs and they decorated their cars with balloons and congratulating them. We made up little certificates for them. Gave them a poster we made for them with their pictures of, everything they did and after school for the year, with certificates, like just to make them feel that, special, obviously, and that, that they're being recognized. Because we know it's been tough. It's been a crazy year. It's our first year at Hawthorne. So, so it's pretty much starting up our program, like with our vision, obviously, our company vision and mission, and collaborating with the district, and then the pandemic gets thrown in there, so it's been a challenging year.
Putting those quality standards to test, right?
Yes, exactly.
So this might be a common sense question, you kind of already touched on it, but why do you think this is all important? Your Husky Hangout, the direct calls, graduation interactions. Why is this important?
Yeah.
Well, I think he did speak on most of it,
Yeah.
but I think, it's not only the students and the families and the school scene that we actually care, that, it's not all about, just academics. There's more than social and emotional well-being, like us checking in with them, having an outlet to talk about their feelings. So I think,
we know academics is important, but they also need those forums and those outlets for them to express themselves. And normally on a regular school day, it would be our dance team or cheer team or a theater team, or they have that outlet that they don't really have anymore in the regular school day. To and that's what keeps the kids coming back and wanting to be part of the after school family. And now that the pandemic's going on, just by us reaching out in that way that we spoke about, I feel like it's really made a difference for sure.
Yeah, I can only imagine. The students definitely appreciate that during this time.
Yeah.
So you talked a little bit about the deans that have been involved for the Husky Hangout.
Yes.
What are some other ways that you're working and coordinating with the school day to kind of support the family and student SEL needs?
So our teams have worked closely with the school admin team. So whatever they feel or they felt like, okay, our kids need more help, whether if it's just making calls, if they've been missing their Google Classrooms with their teachers, their sessions, a lot of our site directors with their PLs have received long lists of kids that are just not attending the sessions, and just making those calls and connecting with the parents or the students to see why they're not connecting with those sessions. Maybe they don't have internet at home. I mean, that's been a huge case for our kids, or them not being able to access a laptop or a computer. And luckily, with the school, they have been able to provide those services to their students, whether it's a Chromebook that they let them borrow, or whether they connected with, I think it was with Verizon, where they were giving free Wi-Fi to the students at home.
Great.
So, yeah.
And how did you prepare your staff for this type of support?
So I think, before, obviously we would do like in-person meetings. So we had to change
professional development in person.
So we had to change obviously the training into virtual Zoom meetings and trainings, and asking schools and teachers and even parents what are their needs, and from there going on with the staff and having those, sometimes 2 times during the week we would have trainings. It just varied. It would vary on what each school needed, the students and the support that we needed to offer to each school.
One source that was helpful was CalSAC.
Oh yes, definitely.
They were offering free professional development. I think they did like 12 trainings.
Yes.
A lot of our site directors and program leaders, and some of them were on COVID-19.
Yes.
On how to prepare.
And they would get certified, so it was like another plus. It was good.
It was good.
Awesome. The next question is kind of a bigger question. It says, how are you documenting the interactions with students and families, and what type of information are you gathering, and how are you using it to improve the SEL support to students and families? More of a CQI question.
Yeah, so I feel in 2 different ways. I think in one way was when we had that communication with the school admin teams, and they would give us those lists of like parents to call or just to check in on families, whether it was on an Excel spreadsheet or a Word document. There was always a response for each call that we would document, whether they answered or they didn't, or what concerns they had. But we also created surveys that we emailed out to every parent that we have in the program, every student that we had in the program. And that was more aligned with CQI. And we were asking them questions on not just how the whole year went for us, but also how they're doing right now, and if they need extra support in any way. And we just started those last week. And we've had an overwhelming response from parents sending us direct messages, calling us directly, being very thankful that we're just reaching out and checking in on them. And then we're still waiting on more responses, right? And then we're going to document everything on how, on what they answered, or how they answered the survey.
Nice. Yeah, I've definitely been hearing that. There's been a lot more family engagement now, as
Yes,
we've all been forced to kind of slow down.
yes,
A lot of the families that we support are now getting an idea of the workload and what it
yes,
takes to really put this thing together.
yes, yes. That's very true.
Mhm.
Very true.
The next question is, did you run into any challenges while trying to support the SEL needs of students and families?
So I think, although we have a good turnout and parents answering or, just being there when we contact them, we also have like an amount of parents that don't answer, or some that do, but I feel like they're a little bit disconnected when we're trying to get some feedback as far as
They
what
don't want to be
additional
a
support,
part of
or
it.
they don't want to be part of it. They're just kind
They're
of like
like,
disconnected.
yeah.
You do it. You do it. You got it.
Yes.
When I
yes.
feel like when we were in person, it was a little bit easier because we were there. We would get, their feedback one-on-one. And right now over the phone, sometimes, it's a little
You
bit
feel like you're a
hard.
spam call.
Yes,
And they're like,
yes,
click.
Yes, yes. So I think that's
Yeah.
the biggest challenge.
I think that has been the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Just those that are not reciprocating. They're not wanting to answer any questions.
Yes.
It's a few, not many,
Not
but
many,
it is
but
a
there's-
few.
Yeah. And it's tough, right? Because on one hand, it's like you'd love to have that communication, get their feedback, just really talk through what you're doing. On the other hand, you're like, oh, they trust us that much that they don't even have to talk to us. They just know we
Yes.
have it under
That's a good
control.
one to see it.
Especially because I know
That's
you
good.
mentioned it's her first
Yeah.
year in Hawthorne, and we're getting to know all
Yes.
these parents.
Mhm.
So then now it's kind of like, wait,
Yeah.
they're just coming in. So yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Awesome. And then the last question is, can you share an encouraging story of how your focus on supporting the well-being of students and family has helped your community?
I think we've heard a lot of great things with the Husky Hangout at Bud Carson Middle School. Our director there, Boyce Brooks, says that they've gotten so many encouraging and just kind of beautiful stories from students, especially not even with the pandemic, especially with all the protesting that has gone on and kids wanting to voice what they feel. And then the community they're organizing peaceful protests, and they being a part of it with their families, and I don't know though. I think hearing that from Boyce, well, they're very touching stories, that they want to be involved in that sense, and they want to be involved in their community in that sense, and that you could see see and hear their frustration, and for them to have an outlet like that for them to speak on that, is, I don't know, it's a great thing. I feel.
Yeah, been seeing quite a bit of civic engagement taking place.
That I haven't seen in a while.
Yes.
Yeah, unprecedented, really.
Yes, very, very.
Well, thank you all. I appreciate you taking the time out to answer some questions and really illustrate what you all are doing with your programming. So this has been Hernry and Jeanette from ICES Education. And to our viewers, we hope the information shared today will be used to kind of jumpstart your own conversations with your stakeholders. And we thank you for your time and hope you check out our other spotlights.
Thank you so much, Sterling. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care.